You thought last week was a bit of a downer? No. This week is worse. Hello everybody, Mega Man NG here, and it's now time for another Flash episode review. This week we talk about the episode Into the Speed Force. And I do want to mention, we're only 7 episodes away from the Season 3 finale. You guys know that we're getting a 4th season later in the fall, but I just want to get that out of the way. Sorry. So here's the deal. I'm going to be providing my thoughts on this episode, what I liked, disliked about it, etc. So without further ado, let us begin. Wally is trapped in the Speed Force. Savitar is out there in Central City planning something, and Barry feels bad that his actions have hurt everyone around him, Flashpoint in particular. Knowing that he needs to save Wally, Barry decides to go into the Speed Force. Once inside, he knows his welcome isn't a pleasant one. People from the past come in to remind him of his failures and selfishness. The Black Flash, Hunter's almond, comes to make Barry suffer. But nothing will stop him from getting Wally out. The question is, will he succeed? Yeah, this episode was a bit of a serious one. Very serious because, let's face it, Barry screwed up. And Barry screwed up considerably because, let's face it, everything he has done since the start of Season 3, or rather the end of Season 2, was all his fault. Barry saving his mom, creating Flashpoint, and basically ruining everyone's lives all because he could not let go of his father's murder, or rather his father's death. That is absolutely sad and messed up. But at the same time, it's a bit fitting for this guy. This guy is such a douche. And when Barry arrived in the Speed Force, it made me giddy seeing that the Speed Force telling Barry they know he screwed up. And they know he used his powers for selfish reasons. And that getting in the Speed Force meant that his welcome is anything but. What I really liked about the episode was that we get to see a lot of familiar faces. Several guests make their appearance here. Eddie Thawne from Season 1 and Ronnie Raymond. Ronnie Raymond's back, at least for this episode only. Although he's not really Ronnie Raymond, he is Ronnie Raymond, aka Firestorm, due to the armor he has. And you guys know he's portrayed by Steven's real-life brother, Robbie Amell. It really is nice, but at the same time it is quite fitting. Because Barry is so determined to save Wally, he's so blind to everything around him. He's so blind that his actions have created consequences, and the consequences keep getting bigger and bigger. It's like the time when Barry tried to travel back in time, but Jay Garrick stopped him and decided to have a heart-to-heart talk, teaching him about the consequences of time travel, that even if you were to change, or rather, in this case, even if you were to go back in time to change one little thing, for some odd reason, everything will revert back to like the way it was. You can't just change it and make everything feel better. No. No, it's not like that. It's not like that at all. Besides, when I saw it all happen, it was just really something. Oh, and we do get to see the Black Flash again. Yeah, but what really sucks is that Teddy Sears didn't make an appearance in the episode. I read that in an interview that Teddy Sears wouldn't reappear for Flash Season 3 because he had work to do with 24 Legacy. Yeah, Teddy Sears is in 24, to let you guys know. But it may be a bit of disappointment, but it was nice seeing the Black Flash again. Not to mention the Black Flash did appear in an episode of Legends of Tomorrow titled The Legion of Doom, which is a rather fun episode, to say the least. Continuing on, there was also a subplot regarding Jesse Quick, who is determined to find Savitar to avenge Wally. Oh my god, why is it that I feel that some of the main characters are acting like utter idiots? I don't know, Jesse's determination is strong, but at the same time I have to wonder, what was she thinking? What was she thinking going after Savitar? That's not a good thing, which is a fact wrong. But it did provide us an interesting revelation. There was a fight, yes, Jesse taking on Savitar, and it ended with Jesse stabbing Savitar in the armor in a weak point. And that's when HR learned of a revelation, that Savitar is no god, it's a man. This may be an interesting clue for what will happen later down the line. Although, if we end up rather realizing who he really is, then that'd be a shock. But continuing on with the main plot itself, the episode was just dark. Really dark. But you want to know something that made me feel really giddy inside? The return of Wentworth Miller as Leonard Snart. And it really tied into continuity as well, because the Leonard Snart version of the Speed Force, he actually went on to say about how his sacrifice in Legends of Tomorrow Season 1 was all because of Barry. And that was really nice, not to mention, really tied well into the CW-verse continuity. I really like that. But it made me giddy seeing Wentworth Miller again, because I personally feel he's one of my favorite characters, one of my favorite actors in the Flash TV show next to Grant Gustin, but seeing him again made me giddy inside. Seeing him back as Captain Cold really made me happy. It really did. And it just made me so enjoyably giddy. And even though for it was a little bit, it was worth it. Oh, and Jay Garrick also does come back, portrayed by John Wesley Shipp, aka the 90s Flash. But this also is sad for another reason. Jay Garrick decides to stay in the Speed Force and takes Wally's place. This may be a sad end, but I have a feeling that Barry will save Jay. Hopefully. I don't really know for sure, because let's be honest, Jay Garrick is a Flash just like Wally. And speaking of Wally, good God, I feel bad for him after this episode. Wally's trapped in the Speed Force, and he is forced to relive the one moment that is most painful to him. His mother's death. He reminds me of Barry in a way, but Wally had a more troubled life. Very troubled. I feel bad for him, and now that he's out, I don't know what's going to happen. Considering that Barry tried to do whatever he could to change the future, unaware that his own actions is creating more problems for everybody. Now, I know he has good intentions, he really does, but the thing is, only he can be able to stop him. And trying to rely on others just isn't going to help matters at all. It's just not. Which brings up the part with the end of the episode. The ending was a bit of a downer. It didn't have much of a resolution, other than the fact that Barry's being an utter douchebag, pushing Iris away. Just like how he pushed Patty Spivot away in Season 2. I'm reminded of that, by the way. I am very reminded of the time Barry being a complete and utter ass. Yes, he's an utter ass. And now here he's being an utter dunce to Iris by pushing him away after saying that the only reason Barry proposed to Iris was to protect her. Newsflash, Barry, not a good idea. Not a good idea at all, and I feel that this is one of the many faults this episode had. The heroes were a bit of a reckless one. Sure, there was a bit of action, but the episode seemed too dark and too serious. The downer ending didn't help matters either. It didn't help matters either, but despite this, we do get to see some familiar faces return, and that makes me pretty happy, especially my personal favorite, Wentworth Miller as Leonard Snart. It made me giddy, and I looked forward to seeing him again in Legends of Tomorrow. So, yeah, I don't have much else to say on that, other than I'll give this episode a 7.5. The episode is good, but it's hampered down by a lot of faults, and I do mean a lot. I don't know, the heroes being utter idiots, not really utter idiots, but careless ones at that. Barry being a douchebag for not realizing that it's his fault everything happened, that's up to him to, realize it. Jay staying behind, and Jesse, oh yes, Jesse Quick is now heading to Earth 3, because that Earth needs a Flash while Jay is in the Speed Force. Yeah, we won't be seeing Jesse again for a while, and that's another thing that made me feel really down. I mean, come on. I feel really down from all this because this episode just really left a sour taste in my mouth despite some of the good. But what I am going to say is that next week, we're getting the musical crossover episode with a villain I never thought we would expect, the Music Meister. How are they going to do this? I don't know, but when that episode comes, I'll be providing my thoughts on it. So yes, that is pretty much it for this episode of The Flash, or rather my episode review of this week's Flash. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, please be sure to hit the like button. It really does mean a lot to me. If you are subscribed, please make sure to click on the bell so that way you'll know when I'll upload next. And if you've seen the episode, let me know in the comments. And if you want to be mega awesome, please be sure to check out my Patreon as well. I promise not to disappoint. Alright, that's it. This is Mega Man NG signing off. Peace out.